Phil Parkinson, Altrincham manager, joins us today. On the day, we've made two new signings. Alex Samizadeh has joined the club, and also it's a return for James Jones. Phil, good business for Altrincham Football Club there.
Yeah, I certainly think so. James Jones, a player that we all know about, great pedigree, even more so now with two seasons in League Two with Barrow. So we've got a really top player, and one that I just couldn't pass by. It shows what we do here works as well when players like James that are willing to come back, even though it's a step down for himself, but we're in a better position than we were last time he was here, where we're full-time now and we can offer him that type of football, which is what he wants to be involved in.
And we're just over a week from the start of the National League season. And obviously things are very different now than they have been in previous pre-seasons, because the move to full-time football has involved a lot of change.
Yeah, lots, but do you know what? It feels the norm now. It's something we've been really prepared for. The lads have embraced it. Hopefully that feel-good factor can take us into the season. Like when I first come and I said winning divisions, winning games, it's like a snowball effect. I'm hoping we can recreate that, because we're certainly not going to be giants in this division. We'll still be in the same position in terms of budgetary, probably in the bottom 2-3. But that means nothing. It's what you do with that money, and it's what you do with your time. We feel we've got really, really good players who are embracing the system that we've put in place, and we want to make a statement this season.
And whilst the change to full-time football involves a big step up financially in terms of financial commitments that are now there that weren't there under a semi-professional regime, it doesn't mean a big step up in terms of the playing budget.
No, it certainly doesn't, and I think there's a misconception of that. What we did, myself and Rob in particular, sat down and we looked at what we could do with the budget that we had to make it stretch to full time. Obviously, there's extra monies that have gone into the facilities, but then you can counterbalance that with what you're saving in the part-time facilities that you were using. But there's obviously extra expense. But in terms of budgetary money for players, that's certainly not vastly increased at all. So we're very prudent with what we've got. We'll be a smaller squad, but I feel that we've got a really, really strong group of players together. The bit that we need to go for is injuries, obviously. It's gone against us a little bit with Matty and Isaac, but there's not much you can do with freak injuries like that. It shows the training's right. It's not muscular injuries, soft tissue injuries, chronic injuries. It's literally injuries that have come about from nothing. So it's very disappointed from that viewpoint, but when I look at what we have actually got, I'm delighted going into the season with the squad we've got and the support that the board have given us to enable us to attract these players, which we wouldn't have been able to do if we weren't full-time.
And the other player we signed today, Alex Samizadeh, we had a look at him at Trafford, and certainly he was a player that the Alty fans seem to identify with straight away, and that's understandable, I think, because of the type of player that he is. But he certainly caused a lot of problems in the one game that I can remember him playing against us, which was for Curzon Ashton 4 years ago. He's a talented lad.
He is. He's got a lot of ability, a lot of energy. He's one of the best people you can meet as well, which is really important to me. He'll certainly fit in with our group, but as you said, for me, he's a bit of a firecracker. He's somebody who's going to make an impact when he plays. Now, whether that's from the start, from the bench, that's down to Alex to sort of show this season if he can nail down a place in the starting 11, which will be difficult. But if you look at our front lads, he sort of ticks that box. He's creative. He's got loads of energy. It'll just be, has he got the end product that we need to, and that'll be the defining factor for him to start in this team.
And whilst the supporters have seen Alex play a half at Trafford, you've not based that decision on that. You've seen him training with us, and he was involved in the in-house game last week. So there's plenty of opportunity there to assess him.
No, absolutely. I said, I think you must have got bored of me saying it the last couple of seasons, where we were taking players in and we were having to play them in a game to assess them, because we didn't have the luxury of a training game or multiple sessions where it was an hour and a half on a Tuesday and a Thursday if we were lucky, if we didn't have a game on a Tuesday. So now we can have them in all week, and we can be assessing them during the day rather than making snap decisions and people getting excited when we sign a player when we all know he's kind of on trial, whereas the lads we sign now, I'd like to think that we've had a real good look at them, and they've gone through a professional process that we put in place to recruit these types of players at this level of football.
I've been hugely impressed with the training facility at Edgerton. It's a great facility.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted with it. I think when you walk in, it certainly has that warm feeling to it. It's a place where I'd want to go and work, and that's how I looked at it. I said to Rob when we were discussing this, and myself and Neil were looking at it, that I wouldn't do it if we didn't have a fixed abode. So we've got somewhere, but we haven't just got anywhere. We've got a really good facility. The people who look after us there, particularly Emma Naylor, superb with us. Everything that we need in terms of the new 4G. I mean, we're quite lucky in terms of, well, we've landed on that happening at that time. The grass pitches are well maintained. They mark the dimensions out the same as our first team pitch. So whatever we've asked for, they've done. We've created our own gym in there, in a garage, which again sounds a little bit cheesy, but it's a fantastic use of resources in the facility, and that's what we have to do. But it's not something that you wouldn't think is professional. We've got the kitchen area, the lounge area, the analysis areas. So yeah, it's really good for our first season in full-time football, and guess what, we'll get even stronger, because every year we'll add to that, we'll make it bigger, we'll make it better, and hopefully we can get some success through all this great preparation that's been put in place.
The last action was on Tuesday afternoon when we travelled to the Clayton Wood training ground for a game against Stoke City, and they played a really strong side throughout the game, particularly in the first half. And I thought we really competed well, particularly in terms of the amount of the ball that we had.
Yeah, well, we played them last year, didn't we? And I think we got thumped. Was it 5-2 or
5-1?
I can't remember. 5-1. There we go. So the scoreline looks like it was exactly the same. But last season we played their under-23s. This season, for the first 50 minutes, we played the lads that are in and around their first team. So Stokes Championship professional players. And I'll be honest with you, there was moments of class from them, but I wouldn't say there was a huge gulf in the first 45. We took the lead, disappointed to concede a goal, but it is pre-season. I'm not going to go crazy about that. And then the opening 10 minutes of the second half, it was a bit surreal actually. They hit, was it 3 goals in about 10 minutes, where I didn't really see where they come from. It was just like every time it fell to one of them, it was in the back of the net. But that's the difference in class, isn't it? You're going to get that. But it certainly wasn't a 5-1 drubbing. We were well in that game for large periods of the time, but the quality of the finishing, or maybe taking them moments, is what the difference was on the day.
And an interesting comparison between the two games last season and this season, in terms of last year, we played 2 games in one day. We went up to Bradford Park Avenue in the evening as a semi-professional club. So we're really relying on the players who were available during the day, which was limited in terms of selection. And I know it's only a friendly, but this season we're going as a full-time club. We can prepare absolutely properly. And you know, I was at the game on Tuesday afternoon, and it felt great. You know, here we are, Altrincham Football Club, a full-time team playing Stoke City in a behind closed doors game that's all about fitness and preparing for the season for both clubs.
And I think you've just summarised it perfectly there, and that's when I talk about the feel-good factor. That's what I want the players to take into the season and the fans to take into the season. It's not been gone on record, it's not been hidden that we've got lads who should be playing higher, who have been touted round to go other places, but they choose to stay here for a reason, because they know it's a great place to be. And although they will have been full-time with other teams, they know that this is the first time Altrincham have gone full-time, and that's a special moment in itself. To say that you were the first professional player to ever play for Altrincham Football Club is a huge feather in any player's cap, because of the history that surrounds this place. So then to take that forward into the season, it gives me goosebumps to think what we can achieve. But we do need a little bit of luck. We need everyone to stay focused. We need everybody to be realistic about, we've done this to give ourselves the best chance to stay in this division. But we're by no means a shrinking violet in here just to make the numbers up. We want to keep improving season on season, and this is the first step for us.
And our final pre-season fixture is against Manchester United under 23s. At this stage, we don't know exactly what team they're bringing on Saturday, but we know they'll be good.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't believe we haven't been able to put a friendly on with United. What's this now? My 6th season. We've not got anywhere near having this friendly. So again, a lot of credit's got to go to the board for that, to be able to get that in place. That's certainly not come from myself. So the board do a lot of things that people don't see. I certainly do. It's a big reason I chose to stay here, was the support that I get from the fans. Everybody involved with Altrincham, but the board are fantastic with me in particular. And to be able to put things on like Go Full Time, to play Man United for the first time while I've been here, these are all big steps made by the football club, and hopefully we can do it justice going into this season, using this as a catalyst to go into our first game.
That's the thoughts of Altrincham manager Phil Parkinson ahead of our final pre-season fixture on Saturday against Manchester United under-23s. Kick-off 3 p.m. at the J. Davidson Stadium.